going on, you beautiful people? My name's Hunter King, and welcome to a new series that I like to call For the Boys, with the number 4 and an IZ at the end because it's edgy. This is your premier NFL sports talk show with your less than premier host. So the basis of this show is going to be me kind of talking about the NFL and things that I kind of see going on with it, like things that I may want my team to do in the future. It'll be talks about games, off-season moves, all that kind of stuff. But right now, we are in the heat of Wild Card Weekend. So we are going to delve into those games, kind of give my opinions on what I see happening, and then make some predictions. Now, some predictions will be what I realistically think will happen. Others will be what I want to happen. I'll cover both, but I will kind of make my predictions from there, and we'll see how I do. So for each of these games, I'm going to be breaking down weapons that each team has, kind of if they played each other, how that game went, and then looking at just the overall record of how the team is playing. So to start things off, we are going with the first of the Saturday games, the Indianapolis Colts versus the Houston Texans, two teams that I unfortunately know very much about because they broke my heart multiple times this season. In their head-to-head matchups, Houston and Indy went 1-1 against each other, both games being decided by field goal, one of the games in overtime, the other in regulation. Houston, you've got Deshaun Watson leading the offense there. DeAndre Hopkins, arguably one of the, if not the best wide receiver in football right now. You have rotation of like Lamar Miller and Alfred Blue running the ball. You look defensively, you've got J.J. Watt, obviously, having a tremendous comeback year. Jadeveon Clowney. But then you go to Indianapolis. And being honest, if I'm any team, I don't want to have to play Indy. Indy scares me right now. Indy has been clicking on all cylinders after they kind of went, I think they ended up going like 9-1 there, like a comeback. Like, I know they lost one game in that little stretch, but ended the season 10-6 after a very rough start. And it's not all thanks to Andrew Luck, because honestly that defense has been playing well. Yeah, you can't name a lot of guys on that defense, but they've been clicking on all cylinders and doing more than people have expected them to do. I know they have the rookie linebacker who arguably could be defensive rookie in the year. I'm blanking on the name, forgive me. But you've got that. You look at the offense, you've got Andrew Luck, obviously. You have an offensive line that is playing far better than what anyone would have expected, like, throughout this season. Two young guys, I know one, Quentin Nelson, Pro Bowl. I think they had another rookie that might have made the Pro Bowl. Marlon Mack is, if he can hold on to the ball, I know he's kind of had some fumble trouble this season, but I still think he is a solid back. You've got T.Y. Hilton making plays. Eric Ebron, who has had a huge resurgence. Very impressive what he's done. And yeah, you can say all that you want about Houston, but I don't want to be a team playing Indy. And that's why I think Indy takes this game against Houston. It'll be another shootout, I'm sure. I won't make a score prediction because I just do horrible with those. But both realistically what I think will happen and realistically what my heart thinks will happen is Indy's going to take this game. Next up, we've got the Saturday night game. I believe it is Seattle at Dallas. These two teams met in the regular season. Seattle won 24-13, kind of blew them back a little bit. You look at the two teams, though. Seattle, we've got Russell Wilson leading the offense. That offensive line playing a lot better than they did last season. Russell hasn't had to make as many plays with his legs, but is still capable of doing it. You've got the rotation of, I guess, Rashawn Penny, Chris Carson. There's another running back. Basically, running back by committee, but each of them brings something different to the table. You've got Doug Baldwin and Tyler Lockett at the wide receiving core. They had a splashy tight end there at the beginning of the season. He hasn't really produced much since. And then you've got, I believe, one piece of the Legion of Boom left back there, being Bobby Wagner, still holding it down very well, I will say. And then I can't name a lot else off of the defense. However, the offense has been so high octane that you just kind of lose focus of it. But the defense has been playing well. Then you go to Dallas. Dallas has Dak at quarterback, Zeke running the ball. You've got Amari Cooper. There's Cole Beasley, and we have, I think it's a rookie guy, but he's been doing well. I know they were at a time regarded as one of the better offensive lines in the league. Defensively, Leighton Vander Esch playing incredibly well. I've seen a lot of comments about him probably being a Pro Bowl candidate that didn't make the Pro Bowl for whatever reason. But you've got him. I don't know. When I look at Dallas, yeah, they're 10-6. Yeah, they've got very good names and high octane threats, but Dak's inconsistency has been something that's worried me. And yeah, they kind of clicked it all back together, but I think this is Seattle's game. I just do, both head and heart here, think that Seattle's going to take this game, go to the next round. So yeah. So now we move to the Sunday afternoon games, with the first one being the Baltimore Ravens versus the LA Chargers. The Chargers visiting Baltimore. They played not 2 weeks ago, and with the final score, Baltimore 22, LA 10. LA's offense was not really clicking much, plus Baltimore's defense has always been very consistent throughout the years, obviously. You look, though, at that Baltimore offense and kind of how they found a new revival within the run game thanks to Lamar Jackson leading the helm, and how people from that offense have respected him as he kind of stepped into the role when Flacco initially got hurt, and then he even though when he was better, Lamar is, I believe, 6-1 as a starter right now. He's able to do a lot of things that I feel people weren't expecting him to be able to pull off. Let's see, I think you have, I believe it's John Brown at wide receiver, who was definitely at the beginning of the season very deep threat guy. He came over from the Cardinals, kind of really made some moves in Baltimore. You've got a package of 3 tight ends that kind of rotate out that are all pretty consistent, at least. And then obviously the Baltimore defense, that's the main focus that people will talk about. But I think this ends up being a revenge game, and I think that the LA Chargers are going to come in and they're going to do a lot of damage. All right, Phillip Rivers looking really good this season. The receiving core, it's all healthy. So you've got Keenan Allen, you've got Mike Williams, you've got Terrell Williams. I think the only piece missing from that offense, really threat-wise, was Hunter Henry. But they got Antonio Gates back, and he's playing well, besides that fumble that he had, I think, in that game against Baltimore. Um, so you've got that. You have a defense that, like, they have everyone. Like, like, in my eyes, LA is the most complete team right now because the injuries aren't stacked up against them. Like, Bosa's back. I believe it's Melvin Ingram doing some damage. Derwin James is playing incredibly well. When he got picked, like, that that LA defense just got scarier. It was weird, but they are firing on all cylinders, and they realistically should be a 1 seed right now, if it wasn't for the head-to-head or divisional record there in the West. But I think that LA takes this. LA takes this hard. The offense goes into Baltimore, clicks. Like, they've had one. So they had a home game against Baltimore, and then went on to play at Denver in Mile High, in the cold. They're prepared. They know kind of what to feel like. They know what to do, and they're gonna go in and get the job done. Like, they're going to, like, show Baltimore that it was a fluke that they won last time. And then finally, we have the last wild card game of the weekend, being Philadelphia visiting Chicago. This one is the toughest game for me. Just because my heart wants one thing, but my head thinks another. This is the one where it's like, what's going to happen? So, we look at the teams. We've got Nick Foles stepping in at QB, going to lead Philadelphia. We have Alshon Jeffrey, Zach Ertz, even Dallas Goedert. I believe he's a rookie this season. Backup tight end, but they use a lot of 2 tight end packages. You look at Nelson Aguilar, Jordan Matthews. You've got a pretty stellar offensive line, honestly. Jason Kelsey, kind of that center, like, really being the centerpiece of everything with that line. Then you look at the defense. Oh gosh, you got Fletcher Cox, Brandon Grahams. The secondary is the biggest weakness for Philly. I saw that firsthand when the Titans beat them. Just giving up some of the plays that they did. They've been injured at the position, nonetheless, but it's really bad compared to like what they were last year. They're obviously being the 6th seed this season. They're not the same team that they were. They're back to being that underdog story. And then you flip the script. You go to Chicago. Mitch Trubisky looking incredible in his 2nd season in the NFL. You have Tariq Cohen. Really, Tariq Cohen taking over that running back game. You've got Allen Robinson, who may be injured right now, but Allen Robinson, oh my gosh, Taylor Gabriel, potentially, I think he was from Atlanta. If not, there's another Atlanta wide receiver there. Trey Burton doing all right for himself after leaving Philly. And then the defense. That Chicago Bears defense right now. Number 1 in most, like, every category, like, in terms of scoring defense, in terms of, like, takeaways, I think, and, like, just what they've been able to do with the ball. Obviously, Khalil Mack made a big impact to that, but you've got some good linebackers there. I think the corners have been playing pretty well. Realistically, I think Chicago takes this game. I think that Bears defense is going to be able to handle Foles, take care of the running game from Philly. That's not the greatest thing in the world. And then you'll have, like, Zach Ertz controlled a little bit. They know how much of a threat he is. But like, my heart wants Foles-adelphia to take it all. I want them in the next round. I want them to make it back. It kind of became a meme last year for me, cheering for Philly, because there are some Philly fans that I was friends with, and really though, I like the team a lot, and in my heart, I want Foles to take it, and I want them to go on, but I think Chicago ends up with it, and I think Chicago is going to be something deadly in the playoffs this year. And with that, this is the end of episode 1 of For the Boys, with the number 4 and an IZ at the end because it's edgy. I hope you've enjoyed yourself, and if so, please subscribe below for more content like this and some other things that I'll be showing y'all later. But for now, this is all I got.